Hey guys, what's up? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new chapter of Shingeki no Kyojin, or you could call it Attack on Titan, on chapter 125. Now, this chapter reveals a lot, well, not too much, but we also get that ending right there, yippee! And I'm pretty sure you guys might be asking me, what the hell are you even talking about? I'll get to that just a second. Let's just continue, okay? Or let's just get this started. We have to it in Stohess district. The walls collapse, and everyone and many of the soldiers are trying to save as many innocent lives as they can. It looks like to me there's a riot happening right now, especially many innocent lives are saying Eren Yeager killed our people. Look around. If he hadn't released the walls, not all the Eldians on this island would be exterminated by the enemy. But many others fight back and says, you don't understand. Without him, we would never be able to have this island protected. And thanks to him, our island will not be exterminated. And you know what? You cannot win without making sacrifices. Dedicate your hearts, and then people will be fighting amongst themselves, But, yeah. We see to it that, Hitch orders everyone to get the anti-riot gear as fast as they can. But we also see to it that Hitch realizes there's a trail of water around the doorway, and she ends up going to the location, and Annie holds her hostage and says, if you scream, I'm going to slit your throat. You hear me? But Hitch, on the other hand, ends up throwing her overboard and got her on the track and says, well, you're kind of weak right now, so I suggest you don't do anything. But we see to it that Annie says otherwise, Annie says otherwise and says something to her, and we see to it that that Annie actually cut herself already and is getting ready to transform unless she listens to her. But Hitch says, you're kind of weak to transform right now. You know that, right? But we see to it that Hitch was asked if something was wrong when the soldier asked him, and goes like, no, it's okay. No need to worry, and etc. And we see to it that Hitch decides to get Annie out of here, and Annie's like, you're pretty smarter than I thought. And she told Annie to shut up. The reason for me to refuse if you want to leave the city, how can I say anything? I mean, it'll be less one duty to have a look at your face at the basement. Even Annie says, I won't even have to hear you rambling about any boys any longer. And she goes like, what the hell are you talking about? You mean you've been listening to us the entire 4 years or something? She said, yeah, 4 years. It felt like I was having a faint dream, and I could hear Armin's voice in the distance, and I wouldn't have to be stuck for so long within the same darkness. That's why I got the gist of what the hell is going on, what you guys are babbling, until I got cracked out of the armor and I heard Eren's voice, Destroying the world. Did he really say that for real? And we see to it that Hitch tells Annie, why don't you look at their feet right now, huh? My job after a while, after becoming a soldier, is cleaning up dead bodies and rubble after your little brawl you had with Eren, you know that? And Hitch decides to ask Annie this question now by asking her, when you destroyed and trampled corpses, huh? How did that make you feel? Like, how many the people you killed? Did you feel anything, or did you even care? And we see to it that Annie decides to answer the question after she was asked that question so many times over the 4 years. And Annie says, about what had never crossed my mind, killing people was something to be praised for. We were taught that after crossing the frontiers, killing soldiers and civilians indiscriminately was fine. For the sake of our mission to atone for the sins of Eldians and save the world, each and every action was justified. And we see to it that they were trying to prevent this here and there about this rumbling here. But we see to it that Hitch tells Annie otherwise. The dead bodies under the rubble were more than or less sacrifices. What you're trying to say? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Annie tells her, no, I didn't care about things like saving the world. And she goes like, then what did you care about? She says, I didn't care about anything. And we get to know about Annie right here. She said that she was abandoned by her parents almost as soon as she was born. The mother's adulterous lover was an Eldian. That's what was established with my blood test. The one who adopted and raised me inside the internment camp was a man with Eldian blood who came from abroad. I heard he was placed inside the internment camp for a similar reason to mine. And she further explains his goal was to train me into becoming a warrior of Marley so I could live a wealthy life. Before I got old enough to understand what was going around me, the man drilled the hand-to-hand combat techniques from his homeland into me. In the man's eyes, my only value resided in whether or not I could become a warrior. The time passed. I became as strong as the man wanted, and I got back at him for all the punishment I endured up to that point. I left him in such a state that he could never be able to walk again, but the man was rejoicing. Now you could kill the enemy even if you have no weapons, you know? Hitch even asked, like, what kind of story did you start rambling about? I could only listen to you speaking for 4 years, so you won't mind if I talk a little. That's why Annie further explains about her more by saying, I was fine no matter what happened, no matter how many people or whichever country died, nor how many lived. The concept of lives, including my own, wasn't something I could find any value in. She even tells Hitch, that's right, until that time, that was on the morning of our departure for the island as part of the operation to retake the founder. The man kneeled before me and apologized. He told me everything that he taught me was a mistake. He begged as he was crying. He begged me for me to come back. But be it the status as a member of a warrior unit or the title of honorary Malian, he told me it was alright to throw them away as long as I come back home. The man was my father. He thought of me as his own daughter. That's it. Annie therefore says, I have a father waiting for me to come home, and there are others like me who have people they hold dear. I don't think nothing matters anymore. I believe I've committed sins that can never be undone. And we see to it that she even says, but if it's to go back to my father, I'd do it again. We see to it that Hitch was glad to actually hear that story, but even if you go back to your father, I don't think you'll find nothing but rubble and dead bodies, I'm afraid. And Annie says, I guess. And back in the Liberia internment camp, everyone was trying to tell the Malian soldiers that you don't understand, the rumbling has been activated. Aryan Yig is going to snatch all your lives away. He's going to kill all of us. You don't understand that. But they don't believe him, and they all get ready to kill all the ones who are rioting, etc. But we see to it that the man who remembers Annie as his daughter, he decides to come back and not give up, and etc. You know, and we see to it that Commander Shadis, who's being tended by his former students, says, "Yo, the Jaegers had taken control of the fortress. We should hurry up and run. If they find you, there's no telling what will happen." And Shadis says, "Look, there's no place for me where I belong. Okay, we sliced the necks of the heads of the military government just a moment ago, and I could only mourn for them. The Jaegers have the support of the population. They'll seize control and rule over the island. For someone from an old regiment like me, there's no outcome from being eradicated. Besides, I don't feel like I could spend the rest of my days going outdoors and maintaining some kind of remote island somewhere either." And we see to it that his former student says, "Look, if you hadn't saved us a few hours ago, we'd be dead by now. We're gonna help you no matter what." But Shadis tells him, "Stop being stupid. Do you think I let obediently why do you think I let you guys beat me up for, huh? Don't try to oppose the Jaegers by any means. You should try to protect yourselves as much as you can, and then when the day comes, you'll have to make a stand. Until then, don't lose sight of yourselves, okay?" And we go to a scene after the scene with Shadis and his former students, we see to it that there's a scene with Armin and Mikasa, you know? Mikasa was trying to tell Armin to wait. Like, if you left for Rakugo right now, you may not be able to catch up to Connie. Besides, what are you going to do if you catch up to him? Giving up on turning his mother back into a human is what you're going to tell him? And Armin's like, yeah, I'm going to tell him that. Even if it's no good, we have to make a move as we can. If we don't, we won't be able to gain Gabby's trust. We need this kid. But whether or not we'll get Reiner and the Cart Titan still lurking somewhere to depend on that. And we see to it that Armin says it's not like the problem depending on the inheritance of the Ninth Titans has gone away either. The worst thing is that the 2,000-year-long story of continuing fighting with over Titan powers will happen all over again on this stupid tiny island. To be honest, I'm so tired. I feel like I want to go into bed and sleep for 2 days straight. In any case, we have to do what we can because our cozy little human history is going to be changed a great deal from here onwards. Armin therefore tells Mikasa, "I'm going to tell Connie that even as a Titan overturned on her back, his mom is still fine as she is, and I'm going to go." And we see to it that Mikasa asks, "Armin, what should I do?" And we see to it that Armin tells her, "Go help Jean. Think for yourself a little." What should we do about Eren? And we see too that Armin yells at Mikasa, I don't know what the hell to do, okay? There's nothing we can do about it right now. Hanji and the captain may have been killed and Flock's team is probably pointing the guns at us. Moreover, Annie might be back. Armin even freaks out by saying the military chain of command is broken, it's complete chaos, and Historia is probably going to be in danger as well. The volunteer troops and Azumoto's, Nicolo's position is no longer safe either. So there's nothing we can do. We don't have time to think about Eren right now. You understand that, right? And Mikasa feeling a little remorseful, and she says, I'm sorry. And Armin's like, you don't understand. If Commander Irvin was here, we wouldn't be as disorganized and scattered as we are now. Do you understand? The answer's clear. The one who should have been revived wasn't me. And this is really devastating because if you guys remember many chapters ago, I don't know how many chapters that was, you will understand that Armin is really feeling remorseful knowing that he should never been picked to be revived because if Irvin knew about the situation, he would handle it easily, no problem. And we see to it that we get to see a scene with Gabby and the others, and we see to it that, like, look, even for his mom's exchange, taking a child's life in exchange, it's something to consider hesitantly. You will surely make it in time. Just make sure you get to him, okay? And we see to it that, Nicolo says, I'll be putting up at Mr. Bra's place for a short while. If you guys better leave this place as soon as possible as you can, okay? And we see to it that Armin gets ready to leave with Gabby, and we have to it that Kaya ends up saying her goodbyes, and then they end up having a little small talk with each other before hugging each other, and then Armin and Gabby are off to try to go save Connie, you know? And we see to it that John tries to stop Flock from shooting anyone else, you know, because he already shot someone already. And we see to it that Flock says the guy didn't understand the situation, but using this, I think it's going to be made crystal clear. What happens to all you volunteers if using my mouth doesn't work? Then this should. And we see to it that Jean was trying to scold Flock for what he's doing, but Flock tells him, I need you to pay attention, okay? And we have to it that Flock therefore makes his announcements to the volunteers by saying, I heard about this plan from Eren 10 months ago. The plan for Eren to use Zeke in order to obtain the power of the Founding Titan. I gathered some friends and aided Eren, and that plan has been achieved today. You volunteers have lost your commander and the soldiers who would side with you. You will also lose your homelands. There will be ground which the Titans will step on during the rumbling. The dream of restoring your homelands, the main reason that you volunteers came to this island, has been shattered, okay? Nevertheless, if there is anyone of you on this island who would lend their strength to the Eldian Empire, say it now. We will welcome you as Eldians with open arms. And one of the guys says, stop messing around, and Flock just kills him right off the bat. Pay your respects to him. Even facing a bullet, he did not yield, but clung onto his pride. And Flock tries to convince the volunteers by saying, but there's no need to die for one's pride. It's okay to just kneel over instead of dying like this. Isn't it better to live? And we had to it that Flock decides to have him put in the cells for now and give him time to think about it. And Mikasa's like, what the heck happened, John? What's happening here? And we see to it that Flock decides to answer a question to John by saying, I am Eren's representative. If Eren solves all the problems outside the island, I can also eradicate all the hate within the island. Anyways, we survived that hell from 4 years ago, and we finally got this in our hands. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're free. We don't have to fight anymore. You can live the way you want, as you want. Right, John? Didn't you say you want to live a comfortable life as a military officer? Do it. You're a freaking hero. And John asks, is it over? And he says, yeah, it's over. That's why you should go back to your old selfish, arrogant punk as you once were, you know? And we see to it that Mikasa decides to ask Flock, where's Captain Levi and Commander Hanji? Where are they? He says, well, it's a shame, but Zeke killed them. And we see to it that we go to another scene with, Connie and Flock, you know? He says, thank you, Mr. Connie, for helping me, but we've been going north all this time. Look at the sunset that way, you know? And we see to it that Connie said, It's okay. It's dangerous in the south. It's best to stay away for a bit. You've lost your memory, so I'm taking you to a hospital safely. You just knocked yourself out. It's true. After all, I'm doing this as a soldier, you know? Of course, Connie's lying to him by saying, I became a soldier so I could protect everyone. He was unable to protect his mother and his other two siblings, but he may be able to bring back his mother, is what he's thinking. And Flock's like, thank you, Mr. Connie, for doing this for me alone, you know? And Connie says, yeah, it's okay. And we see to it that Flock thinks in his mind that he's glad Mr. Connie is a good person, but he had some kind of memory remembering Gabby and his brother, you know? After all that happened, he can't seem to remember. The spinal fluid that's in my body, what happened to brother and Gabby, the Marleyan soldiers, they might have left in the airships already. But Falcos was concerning by thinking, Mr. Connie, I think I've seen him somewhere before, but he doesn't seem to know me, or is it just me? And we see to it that, like, that the airships are heading straight back to Marley, and we see to it that Piek, along with Commander Margit whatsoever, they end up seeing the rumbling, and they lost all hope of survival for the Marleyan army. Of course, we see to it that Margit tells Piek, nah, this was the right choice. We could update the mailing regarding the current situation. It's better than waiting until they are crushed, you know? And Piek's like, however, after all this, can we do anything? Do you have a plan to stop all this? As Piek asks Margit, and unfortunately, he gives out a real truthful answer by saying no. However, we had to hold out to the very bitter end. And someone says, hey, excuse me, but we have to it that, like, before they could do anything, we have to it that Hanji's like, Hanji, and I mean Hanji, she's alive. Yeah, she's alive, or he, whatever gender that person is, because it's not confirmed which one is. But we see to it that Hanji tells, wait, please don't eat me. As you can see, I got no weapons. And who's back there? Let's just say it's a man that has failed to die, you know? And it's Levi. Unfortunately, luckily, those who thought he's dead, he's actually alive. Thank goodness. Though, it looks like to me he's in very bad shape right now. Very bad shape. And the chapter ends. I know you guys are very confused right now, so I'll put it in simple words without a lot of detail, okay? We had to it that the first quarter of the chapter involves Hitch having to clean up dead bodies and calm down the riot, and takes Annie out and have her leave the island, you know? Not to mention decides to listen Annie's backstory, and we get to know about Annie. The second part involves Shadis talking to his former students, and then Armin having to talk to Mikasa saying we gotta focus on what we have right now and focus on yourself for a bit, you know? And Armin decides to go with Gabby to go after Connie before it's too late. As for Flock, he's trying to get the volunteers to be welcome in the Eldian's arms whatsoever. And let's see here, what else? And Flock ends up talking to Jean that we are free, you know? We don't have to fight anymore. You can live whatever you wish, etc., you know? And there's another scene with Connie and Flock talking to each other, which Connie still plans to feed Flock to his mother so he could turn back to a normal human, even though there's not much time left. Then the last part involves Piek and Margit having to talk to each other about the situation. And Hanji was almost killed before she says, oh, take it easy, please don't eat me, I got no weapons, okay? And we see to it that Levi is still alive but critically injured. So, well, this is one hell of a chapter. I mean, we got to know about Annie, and then what the situation is with everyone else, such as Armin, Mikasa, Commander Shades, Flock and John with Mikasa, and then Hanji along with Margit and Piek, you know, etc. Talk about a crazy chapter, huh? Now, I know the chapter got translated yesterday, and I did read it, and you guys might be asking me, why didn't you do the recap then? I was a little tired, and I wanted to sleep in, okay? I mean, I barely get any sleep nowadays, and I'm kind of tired. And tomorrow is going to be a crazy event, which I'll update you guys sometime later tonight, alright? So, or today. So until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alfazzetto. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot!